We're going to be investigating celebrity cult conspiracy theories. This video is all alleged, by the way. There are low-key a lot of celebrities that you probably didn't know are in cults or cult-like things. I don't know. We're just gonna tread lightly here. Sort of. We're actually kind of getting into it, but this is for the sake of entertainment purposes, all alleged. So when we talk about celebrity cults, I think the first thing, at least for me, that comes to mind is none other than the Church of Scientology. It is so interesting to me, and it always has been, that there are so many celebrities involved in this church because the celebrities who have escaped it claim that it is fully a cult. And that's concerning. For decades, the Church of Scientology has been one of the most secretive and controversial organizations in modern history. But in Hollywood particularly, it's like a kingdom of stars where actors, directors, and producers are all involved here in the same damn church cult. You got Tom Cruise, you got John Travolta, Kirstie Alley, Leah Remini, who is an ex-Scientologist, Elizabeth Moss, Danny Masterson, which we're going to talk about. There are so many different celebrities who are involved here. It's insane. So when Scientology was evolved from a book into a religion by L. Ron Hubbard, basically was one of like the first spiritual / religious leaders to not see Hollywood as a threat to his movement, but actually to see it as a tool and a great opportunity to promote his message, which essentially is still happening to this day. There's literally a Church of Scientology Celebrity Center in Hollywood, and like, why does that exist? I don't feel like there's any other religion that is so centered around pop culture and celebrities in Hollywood. It's so interesting to me, which according to a lot of ex-Scientologists or who are also celebrities, the Church of Scientology promises measurable results of like unlocking superhuman abilities, like becoming famous, rich, spiritually invincible, all of these bananas things, really. But the thing about Scientology is it's a hierarchy, 100%. The church uses a system called the bridge to total freedom, and essentially you have to pay thousands, sometimes millions of dollars to get there. And the whole church really does run a lot on money. And according to different whistleblowers, the higher you climb within the Church of Scientology, the closer you get to enlightenment is really just the amount of power that the church has over you. There's allegedly these auditing sessions where followers of the church confess intimate secrets under lie detector test that's basically creating a database of leverage for the Church of Scientology to use against them, and that helps keep the members obedient. Like, it's fully, according to ex-Scientologists, a cult. So the Church of Scientology really comes in, and especially with celebrities, claims that they gives like a life-changing seminar at the Celebrity Center, and they're told that Scientology can help them handle the pressure and silence their self-doubt and just navigate the chaos of stardom. So a lot of celebrities have been drawn to the church. One of its former members described it like this. They said, Hollywood runs on insecurity and Scientology knows how to sell certainty. And I agree 100%. Like, I think that is the appeal that is bringing these celebrities to the church. But it definitely doesn't come without a price. There are a lot of people who have spoken out about the church since being members their entire lives. And a lot of the celebrities that are on the Church of Scientology's roster claim that the church really isolated the celebrity members from the outside world and surrounded them with fellow Scientologists who reinforce the church's ideology and handlers who basically take care of all of their decisions. It's kind of nuts. Like, there's been a long-running conspiracy theory that the Church of Scientology like auditioned girlfriends and wives for Tom Cruise, and that's like probably 100% true, allegedly. Okay. And the thing that stresses me out personally about the Church of Scientology is that anytime a celebrity tries to come out and talk about it, like one that's been involved in the church or seen it from behind the scenes, they're kind of just written off by the church as a suppressive person. They get cut off, discredited, or destroyed. And I just think that's terrifying. With Tom Cruise specifically, a lot of people think, again, that his like wives and girlfriends were auditioned before. I think regardless, they were definitely vetted to make sure that they would uphold and support the Church of Scientology's image. And That's crazy. Like, it's honestly kind of nuts when you think about it. But nonetheless, somebody who's interesting to me in regards to this cult is definitely Leah Remini. Leah Remini was in the Church of Scientology for over 30 years. So she obviously knows what's going on. She ended up leaving the church and exposing it as a system of fear, manipulation, and punishment. She had a docu-series about it called Leah Remini, Scientology, and the Aftermath. And she really talked about things that would go on inside of the church. And also she had like ex-members of the church come on and tell their stories about being surveilled, stalked, or cut off from family members after leaving the church. That's the thing that is like very concerning about this overall, is that like when you leave the Church of Scientology, you're exiled by them. And not for nothing, but the church denies literally all of these claims. The church claims that it's simply misunderstood, but it's definitely not a secret that any celebrities who have been affiliated with the Church of Scientology do not like speaking publicly negatively about it. Because the church is known to be able to pull really large strings in Hollywood, and for an ex-Scientologist to come out and try to expose them, like theoretically that church could end that person's career, because obviously they're coming from the inside and telling us what's actually going on here, which is the opposite of what the church wants. One of the most consistent conspiracy theories about the Church of Scientology specifically is that it is a celebrity control machine, and basically a modern version of mind control disguised as religion. I mean, the idea of them collecting personal secrets and using these confessions against celebrities specifically psychologically, and basically threatening them and having leverage over them, obviously a form of manipulation, blackmail, whatever you want to call it, and apparently that's allegedly what's going on here. And you might be wondering, why does the church even want celebrities involved if they're doing such nefarious things? Like, why do they want celebrities involved in the first place? Somebody that could expose them on a large platform. And the answer to this is pretty simple. The church is all about their image. They really want to keep their image as clean as possible, especially with all of the conspiracy theories and, narratives surrounding it. These stars are definitely used to normalize the church's image and spread its message and keep the Hollywood elite in check. And even though this theory kind of sounds extreme, it's built on real facts. Like, that has been kind of the vibe that we've gotten from Tom Cruise, Kirstie Alley, the people who have supported the Church of Scientology within it and not questioned its behaviors and not questioned anything against it. They talk only positively about the church, which is definitely gonna make people think, well, it can't be that bad if like Tom Cruise is involved, John Travolta, like it can't be that bad. It can't be that crazy. But then you have people like Leah Remini coming out and exposing it for what it is. Obviously, you need those big celebrity figures to counteract the things that Leah Remini is saying. A lot of former members claim that inside the Celebrity Center in Hollywood, the staff treat the celebrities like literal royalty. They dine in private rooms, they get personal spiritual counselors, they have their own entrances and exits to avoid paparazzi, and it's just like a bunch of luxury wrapped in secrecy and lies and manipulation. And it's so interesting to me. I think that there is so much to talk about when it comes to the Church of Scientology that it low-key scares me a little. Especially because, yes, the celebrities are getting like premium luxury treatment, but ex-Scientologists who are like lower level members, aka like average people, describe grueling working conditions, long hours, and punishment for questioning authority, which is obviously concerning. So this kind of creates an unsettling dynamic here where fame equals freedom and everyone else just serves the machine of the Church of Scientology and keeps it running. And yeah, like, I don't know. I think that there's so much truth to a lot of the conspiracy theories here. When you just have so many members coming out about this and talking about how scared they were to talk about stuff that was going on in the church, it is definitely interesting. And I would say to take what they say pretty seriously, because obviously the people within it would know the best. And I just don't think Leah Remini specifically is like getting anything out of exposing the church. I don't know. And it seems like if anything, it only could affect her career in a negative way. So I just think that this is an interesting theory overall. I think that the church is probably a lot darker than we even think, but especially for its like non-celebrity, non-rich people that are involved in it, and the kids that are just like born into the church under these like horrible working conditions. And I don't know. it's scary. I mean, as time went on, even though the church like tries to maintain its image, obviously there have been a lot of cracks in the Hollywood and the church's Hollywood empire. Lawsuits, documentaries, whistleblowers, so many different aspects of people coming out and talking about the church chipped away at its reputation. But there are obviously still people who are fully a part of it and fully indoctrinating children and other people into this cult. Sorry. What is that? Like, obviously we know the big faces of Scientology, which Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Christy Alley, etc. Like, everyone knows are Scientologists. But there are so many people that were involved in the church that I had no idea. One that's interesting to me is Danny Masterson. Obviously, Danny Masterson from That 70s Show famously was convicted of raping somebody, and it was horrible. And his co-stars Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher defended him, which is a whole nother issue, honestly. But another That 70s Show member was also a part of the Church of Scientology, Laura Prepon. So Laura was introduced to the church just out of high school. She was dating Christopher Masterson, who is the brother of Danny Masterson, which is one of the church's most devout members. The Mastersons family had been Scientologists for decades, and their home functioned almost like a recruitment hub for young Hollywood actors. So various actors, models, musicians rotated through social circles that overlapped with Scientology courses, auditing sessions, and celebrity center parties. And for an up-and-coming actress trying to find their place in Los Angeles, these events weren't just like spiritual, like they went because they were insane networking opportunities. And by the early 2000s, Laura had fully immersed herself in the Church of Scientology. She attended classes at the Celebrity Center, and she was fully a Scientologist. But she has distanced herself from Scientology over the years. She's no longer ever photographed with church insiders. She hasn't said that much about the church in comparison to other celebrities, which honestly is fair. But it is interesting to me that the Mastersons family was really trying to recruit all these young Hollywood hopefuls to become Scientologists in exchange for fame. It kind of sounds a little Illuminati. Not gonna lie. But before we get into the rest of the conspiracy theories, I want to thank Uncommon Goods for sponsoring today's video. Uncommon Goods makes it so easy to come up with thoughtful, personalized gifts that are actually very interesting and unique to the person that you're trying to give a gift to. I've been using Uncommon Goods in my personal life for years at this point. Anytime a birthday or anniversary or holiday comes around, it's the first place I go to look for gifts, especially for my dad, which good thing he doesn't watch my YouTube videos because we're gonna show you what I got him today. I always get him things from Uncommon Goods because I feel like dads are so hard to shop for specifically. I don't know if that's just me, but my dad loves beer and barbecuing. And Uncommon Goods had these IPA infused, beer infused rubs, which I got my dad for Christmas, and he's going to be obsessed. I think this is such a cool idea. And it's so interesting, and again, very, very unique and niche. There's so many different niche categories on Uncommon Goods. There's honestly something for literally everyone. Also, Uncommon Goods is just a very good ethical company to purchase from. Every purchase you make, they give back $1 to a nonprofit. And to date, they've donated over $3 million to various nonprofits, which I just think is great. Also, when you shop on Uncommon Goods, you are supporting different artists and independent businesses, and a lot of their products are handcrafted. I seriously couldn't recommend Uncommon Goods enough, especially if you like getting people very unique and personalized gifts that is just something so niche. What is more niche than this? I'm not even kidding. My dad's obsessed with IPAs and he loves to barbecue. How does this exist? It's just perfect. I don't know. If you guys want to make your holiday season unforgettable with Uncommon Goods, you can click the link in the description box below or scan this QR code to get 15% off of your next order. Without further ado, let's get back into the conspiracy theories. All right, when you talk about celebrity cults, one person definitely probably comes to mind, and that's Jared Leto. So Jared Leto has this island that essentially, under the guise of a luxury fan retreat where fans go there, they meditate, they do all this spiritual shit, but to other people it looks clearly like some sort of devotion or cult thing. Jared Leto again insists that it's satire, but the images, the robes, the chanting, the worshipful eyes, it all just tells a different story, honestly. It all stems from Jared Leto's band 30 Seconds to Mars, which around 2009 the band began using the phrase as a joke, saying yes, this is a cult. cult. But it like low-key kind of became what it was a joke of, you know? Like they started organizing mass gatherings, they wore matching symbols, and they referred to Jared Leto as the leader. And again, a lot of this is like allegedly satire, but like how far are they taking it? I don't know. Psychologists who study parasocial relationships specifically end up referencing Jared Leto a lot because Jared Leto really played into this. He held these fan retreats, he fostered these parasocial relationships and talked about higher frequencies and the path and all these spiritual things, but to his fandom. Like he created a cult following, literally. So in 2019 was when this whole kind of like 30 Seconds to Mars like fantasy became literal with Mars Island. So this was a 3-day summer camp on a private island off of Croatia's coast, and the tickets were up to $2,000, flights not included, but the packages basically promised rest, reflection, and celebration with the band. Attendees slept in tents and did yoga in the mornings and attended acoustic sets, but it was the visuals that kind of broke the internet here, like Jared Leto just leading lines of followers dressed in white and photographers calling him the prophet of pop culture. Like it was concerning looking, not gonna lie. And when critics started to question Jared and asked him, is this a cult? He just said it's a fun experience, but if you want to call it a cult, sure. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Again, do I feel like 30 Seconds to Mars was really trying to bait people, like kind of rage bait, but like more like bait people into they started a cult, sort of, but then at the end of the day, they low-key did start a cult. I want to know what you guys think about this. Is this like just the role of a lifetime to Jared Leto? Like, is he just completely acting this and just kind of doing it as a meme or satire, or do you think that there is something darker here? I want to hear your thoughts. Speaking of cults, we can't really talk about cults without talking about the elusive Illuminati. A lot of people believe that the Illuminati is the #1 cult of Hollywood and that there are several different celebrities and high powerful figures who are involved. I do believe in the Illuminati. I've just heard so many different stories and theories from various people over the years that I do think that there is some truth to it. Do I think it is so celebrity based? Not really, but also I could be wrong. Like personally, I think it's more about producers and film directors and faceless billionaires. People like Jeffrey Epstein, Trump, these people who have so much ridiculous amount of power. And I think it's less like the people like Beyonce and Lady Gaga and stuff. But that's just my opinion. One thing that I always found interesting for a while was Kanye West's Sunday service specifically. Like I don't know that I think that this was necessarily a cult or like an Illuminati meeting, but I will say the secrecy around it was very strange. Like performers had to sign NDAs, locations were confidential until hours before the events, choir members described 4 a.m. call times and unpaid rehearsals. Like there's so many dark aspects of this Sunday service, but like attendees were literally kind of like worshiping Kanye a little bit. Like not fully, and it was technically like a church about like Christianity, but the way that Kanye was involved was so strange. Like they would have attendees would stand in circles around him where they were barefooted and Kanye wouldn't even say anything. He would just like stand there and take it in. I don't know, it was fucking weird, I gotta say. And obviously Kanye has always been strange, but now he's obviously a lot worse and says some crazy stuff on social media and has claimed multiple times that he sacrificed his mother and that Michael Jordan sacrificed his dad and all these crazy things about the Illuminati. But some people believe that there is truth to what Kanye is saying. I don't know, but I will say the Sunday services for me always were weird. Always weird. I don't know. Another really popular cult amongst celebrities was the Children of God. So this was a radical Christian salvation cult. The church seemed fine at first and on the surface, but apparently there was a lot of dark stuff going on. Like for example, they would try to get new members to this church by using a tactic called flirty fishing, where female members were forced to attract new converts, and the church called this spiritual prostitution, which is just bananas. A lot of former members of this church described childhoods that intertwined with worship, exploitation, and silence. One survivor said, "We were expected to be perfect soldiers all the time. If we weren't, we were beaten and isolated." And there are a couple celebrities who were involved with this church, but luckily like got away from it. For example, Joaquin Phoenix. His parents were senior members of the Children of God before they ended up leaving the church, but that's pretty crazy. honestly. And Rose McGowan is another person who spoke out against this and had talked about how she spent her early years in the Children of God. And similarly to the Church of Scientology, the Children of God church really enjoyed celebrities that were a part of them, or any people with any public platform that talked positively about their church. They always wanted to recruit more people. Another interesting celebrity cult connection has to do with the Church of Satan. Why did I not know Sammy Davis Jr. and Jane Mansfield both had ties within the Church of Satan? I don't know. So the Church of Satan was kind of founded as a rebellion against like traditional religion and church. And it's important to note that the message of the church was not actually about worshiping an actual devil, but it was celebrating indulgence and human desire and individual power in a society that glorified guilt within religion. The cross was replaced with a goat head symbol, and it ended up becoming a very popular church. And they kind of just like did weird things. Like they would hold midnight masses called black masses. And for a lot of people in Hollywood, this church wasn't really a religion, but it was more so a performance art. But still to this day, there are people who are involved in the Church of Satan. But again, a lot of people claim that it's kind of just like the Church of Satan is not about worshiping the devil, but it's just about being anti-religion in general. It's kind of confusing. So Sammy Davis Jr. was photographed at one of Anton LaVey's events, who is the creator of the Church of Satan. And at this event in 1968, he's seen with Anton LaVey and people immediately freak out. And his response actually was that he said that the Church of Satan appealed to him because it rejected hypocrisy. And Sammy Davis Jr. said that he faced racism, religious judgment, and endless public scrutiny, and that LaVey's message of self-determination felt liberating. So Sammy Davis Jr. seems to have like flirted with the idea of Satanism, but never fully committed. Never was like taking it that seriously. Jane Mansfield was another person who ended up being photographed with Anton LaVey, and overnight the headlines screamed the devil and Jane Mansfield, and some people claiming that Anton LaVey had casted a love spell on her and all this crazy stuff, but most of it honestly was just an exaggeration. But people were literally calling her the high priestess of the Church of Satan just because she was with this guy. And then 2 years later, she tragically died, obviously in a car accident at the age of 34, and the myth basically wrote itself, and people claim that she had been cursed after angering Anton LaVey, the leader of the Church of Satan. But I don't know. It's definitely interesting. And I still low-key believe parts of the conspiracy theory that Taylor Swift is related to Zena Levy, the Church of Satan's daughter. They just look so much alike, it's kind of nuts. Even though it doesn't really make sense, I kind of see it. Anyway, those are some celebrity cult conspiracy theories of different celebrities who may be involved in cult-like religions or spiritual activities. I want to hear what you guys think of this. I find stuff like this to be so interesting, and honestly, there is so much more research that I had for this video, but it's already getting long, so I could definitely do another part of it because there are even more celebrities who are involved with some strange things, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on them. So let me know if you would want to see that. But either way, that is it. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these conspiracy theories, and make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.